What's up, Saints fans? Happy Victory Monday. Because the Saints played their first preseason game, we're going to do some overreactions, some crazy takeaways, and some of my hot takes coming out of that game. But we're also going to dive into the latest news around your New Orleans Saints. Starting off with running back Kendre Miller. There was an injury issue yesterday. He left the game early due to a knee injury, what has now been confirmed as a knee sprain. It stinks to see the rookie running back leave, and it actually is the same knee that he hurt in the Fiesta Bowl last season with the TCU Horned Frogs. Nick Underhill, he was on the report, as well as Tom Pelissero, but Underhill putting out there, the scans revealed a minor sprain in Saints running back Kendre Miller's knee, per sources. He's expected to miss a week or two of action, and Tom Pelissero added that there's going to be no surgery required, so that's some good news around Kendre Miller. The early reports were that, it was bad. He had the knee injury. He left the game early. That's why we saw a lot of Ellis Merriweather at the end of the game. And on top of that, we also got the updates, a little bit afterwards that it wasn't expected to be anything major. So we're glad to see that turned out to be true. That turned out to be the case. Because taking a look at the depth chart, Kendre Miller, if you don't have him, it's pretty thin during those first 3 weeks. Because Kamara, as we all know, he's going to miss weeks 1 through 3 due to that suspension. Jamal Williams, love the picture. It's hilarious, by the way. He looks pretty good. He still looks like that bowling ball that the Saints signed back in free agency. Kendre Miller is your RB3, and Kirk Merritt didn't get any reps yesterday at running back. He's dealing with an injury, but it's not supposed to be anything crazy. Ellis Merriweather, though, one of your UDFAs out of UMass, he took a lot of touches. Eno Benjamin also on the roster. However, he is on injured reserve. That's why he was not playing. Adam Prentice, Jake Vargas as your fullback. So without Kendre Miller, you may need to go and add another running back, and the Saints understand that. And Jordan Schultz, he reported this early this morning that former Chiefs running back Darrel Williams, LSU legend, is working out for the Saints today. He is a Louisiana boy, so common theme with the Saints ever since D8 took over. You're bringing in a lot of hometown kids, a lot of homegrown talent, which Sean Payton never did, so that's kind of cool. But Williams had 15 total touchdowns and has proven to be a terrific pass-catching back throughout his career. And taking a look at some of his rushing and receiving stats over the past 3 seasons, year by year, you can see in the rushing category in 2022, he only had 21 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Back in 2021, he had 144 carries, 558 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Definitely his best season. And then in 2020, 39 carries, 169 yards, and a touchdown. And in terms of the receiving production, because that is one of his biggest strengths, you saw 4 receptions for 9 yards back in 2022, 47 receptions for 452 yards back in 2021, and 2 touchdowns. And then you also saw in 2020, 18 receptions for 116 yards. But I want to talk about another running back option because Ellis Merriweather looked really, really good. And in terms of the production he put up yesterday, he had 9 carries for 24 yards, 2 receptions for 17 yards, and the touchdown that would have tied the game had they gone for 1 and kicked the extra point or whatever. But the touchdown that got them back within, a couple of points. So Ellis Merriweather, I think, could be another really solid option. I mean, and including his collegiate stats, in 2021, he was an 1,000-yard rusher, had 5 touchdowns on the ground, and most recently in 2022, 150 carries for 575 yards. I think Ellis Merriweather showed a lot of promise. He showed a lot of pop, and at the end of the day, if you sign a player like a Darrel Williams or a Kareem Hunt or whoever running back it is, they're going to be an RB4. So I'm not, and especially because now you have some positive news around Kendre Miller, I'm not necessarily sold on the idea to go and sign a guy like Kareem Hunt. However, I think Darrel Williams makes a little bit more sense. He's a very versatile guy. He won't break the bank. And at the end of the day, I think that he's a player that could have a better fit than Kareem Hunt. Obviously, if things keep coming out about Kendre Miller and it's something terrible, fingers crossed it's not the case, I think that you should be fine with a guy like Darrel Williams. However, do you even really need to go and get him? So let me know what you guys think. Should the Saints even go sign Darrel Williams? They had him in for a visit, for a workout. I want you to let me know, Saints fans. Type S for sign, type Pete for pass, and also show some love to Kendre Miller in the comment section, but type in his number 25 to wish him a speedy recovery. This will be the YouTube pinned comment, so when you get hit with an ad break, take advantage of it, scroll on down, and let me know your thoughts. All right, so let's overreact to that absolute, just electric game. Let's call it how it was. That was unbelievable yesterday. Saints vs. Chiefs was a lot of fun, especially in that first quarter, and in that fourth quarter. It was pretty insane. Second and third quarter, I kind of want to wash away from my memory. But first quarter, first overreaction, Derek Carr. Oh, my God. Guys, I am at a point where I'm about to go and throw like $50 to $100 down on the Saints' future because holy shit, Derek Carr looks good. He will. My overreaction is that Derek Carr will lead this offense to be a top 10 offense across the NFL. I'm not saying in the NFC. I'm saying in the NFL, the Saints will have a top 10 offense. I think that that's not out of the question with this offense. When you saw what Derek Carr did when he was on the field, he was commanding the team. He was dishing out to the running backs. He was dishing it out to his receivers, to his tight ends. He was everywhere and then some. And then he capped off that incredible drive with a touchdown pass to Keith Kirkwood. I loved seeing that out of Derek Carr, and I love that he was able to show that he's comfortable. He knows what he's doing there. He has clear chemistry with some of these players. And in terms of some of the receiving stats for KC, your main three starters, or it's three of your starters, excuse me, here's the stats that they put up. Rashid Shaheed did not play, so obviously no stats there. Chris Olave got one target, or he didn't have a pass. He got targeted and dropped the ball. It was the first pass of the game. So obviously kind of wish that Chris Olave would have caught that, but it's preseason week 1. Who cares? It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to think too much into it, but if you can see there's a clear connection with Michael Thomas. He hit him on a nice pass over the middle, kind of low. Where no one else could catch it except for MT, slid under it and got it. Juwan Johnson had 2 passes that were both first downs. He's picking up right where he left off. Juwan Johnson is living up to the name of Mr. Reliable, and I absolutely love it. 2 receptions for 29 yards for him. And Alvin Kamara, guys, isn't this crazy? We saw a screen pass. We clap it up for Pete. We saw a screen pass. We love to see it. He had 2 receptions for 21 yards. Screens never happened last year. It was pretty much like it was just like it didn't exist. The screenplays just were not in the playbook, it seemed like. So I love that we saw Alvin Kamara get involved in the passing game as well. My biggest concern, though, is the offensive line depth. Like that first team offensive line, they looked good. I really think that they looked good. You saw some pictures. If you look at the film, you look at the tape, you can see them creating pathways for Alvin Kamara to take off and hit his holes, get outside, do what he needed to do. They bought time for Derek Carr in order to be able to go through his progressions and make that pass in order to extend drives, get a first down, get downfield, whatever it was. I think that the first quarter was incredible for the Saints and not just the offense, but the defense as well. Shout out to the defensive line, or to the first team defense for getting that 4th and short stop on 4th and inches on the first defensive drive of the preseason. It was incredible, but the depth was bad. The second quarter was kind of bad. Third quarter was just atrocious. Fourth quarter, Jake Haener had no time. And one thing that I was a little bit worried about was Max Garcia. Whenever he snapped the ball to Jake Haener on that 2-point conversion that would have given them the lead. Obviously, there was some miscommunication there. There were the reports and stuff coming out afterwards where that Jake Haener was, calling for a check or calling for something else, and he thought he said hi. So, it was weird. The O-line depth I'm not necessarily jazzed about, so I'm a little bit worried there. So fingers crossed everyone stays healthy. But, the sidelines were pretty popping with all the new gear yesterday. I really was a fan of some of the hats that they had out there, so I wanted to just show some of these ones to you guys because I know I'm picking up a new hat at chatsports.com/Saints hat. They got flat bills, you got baseball caps, you got the throwback with Sir Saints on it, and damn, that hat is crispy. It is just beautiful. You can also get a flat bill with your boy Sir Saint on there. I think this one's cool, but my favorite one is this one right here. I love this hat. I ordered it. I'm pretty sure I saw MT rocking this one too yesterday. So if you want to be like me and you want to be like Michael Thomas, chatsports.com/Saints hat. And those aren't the only ones we have available. We have a ton of them online for you, but be sure to use our link. That way our friends over at Fanatics know that we sent you. All right, overreaction number 2. I'm sure you can see where this was going. A.T. Perry. I mean, he was the day's MVP. A.T. Perry was unbelievable yesterday. And I think that he's going to beat out Tre'Quan Smith to become wide receiver 4. Because A.T. Perry, sure, in practice and in training camp, things weren't exactly as exciting or as electric or as productive as you would have wanted to see. But taking a look at the stats, when you're in the game, the lights are bright, you are in the dome, the atmosphere is electric, the adrenaline's pumping. The guy took advantage of his opportunity. 6 receptions, 70 yards, 11.7 yards per catch, and a touchdown. And the Chiefs defense, it isn't some bum group. The touchdown he had was a contested catch over Trent McDuffie, who is a pretty damn good football player. So seeing a rookie also make that vet move of extending his arm to try and get that touchdown, cross the goal line. I loved seeing A.T. Perry do that. I'm a big fan of his, man. And in the wide receiver depth chart, I think that he is in a perfect position to not only make the roster, but be that wide receiver 4, like I said. Keith Kirkwood, he had a touchdown from Derek Carr yesterday. He's a just great backup to have on the roster. I would love to see him make the roster. James Washington, he got a pass that he didn't catch. Brian Edwards, he looked all right. He had some good and some bad. Kwan Baker, he got active in the game as well. Shaq Davis, he had a really nice catch that he had to go and jump. It seemed like a mile up in the air to go catch a pass from Jake Haener. But when I say that A.T. Perry can fit into this room and be a impact player, I'm not exaggerating that. I truly believe that's not an overreaction, but being wide receiver 4, I think that that's something that could definitely happen. And let's talk about it. What a steal by the Saints front office. I mean, an absolute highway robbery, trading away Adam Troutman to go get the Broncos 6th round pick so you could draft A.T. Perry. I mean, there was scouts out there that had him going 4th, 5th round, and you got him in the 6th. I mean, what an absolute highway robbery. And I want to show some love to the Rook, man. And I want you to do the same for me. Type 17, his jersey number, 17, to show some love to A.T. Perry. An absolute stud. You can see his teammates going up there and celebrating with him, giving him props. So be like his teammates. Show him some love. Type 17 to congratulate A.T. Perry on an absolutely incredible first outing in the black and gold for the Saints, not Wake Forest. All right, overreaction number 3, and this one's just kind of a personal one. It's not going to be a bunch of stats. It's not going to be a bunch of numbers and stuff. This is just something how I feel. And to a certain degree, I'm a firm believer. You got to just go with what you see and how you're feeling. This team, it just feels special. It really feels special. It feels like a team that has a lot of great energy around them, a lot of great leadership, a lot of phenomenal players, and a great fan base behind them, a weak division, a very weak schedule. I mean, this team, I've said it so many times, the only thing that's going to stop them is themselves. So for the love of God, Dennis Allen, please do not let mistakes ruin this season. Clean up the frickin' penalties. Clean up the play calling. Let's be smart, because this team is special. I mean, Alvin Kamara, he still has that pop. He still has that electric step that he has. He was shifty. He was catching the ball. He was doing so many things. How could you not take advantage of that? Alvin Kamara looked incredible yesterday, and I was so pumped to see that. Derek Carr, dude, he was slicing and dicing yesterday. We just talked about it for a few minutes, but Derek Carr looked incredible. And hey, who would have thunk it? Derek Carr finally beats the Chiefs. It just takes leaving those fraudulent Raiders. I'm sorry. I know we have a lot of Raider fans who like Derek Carr and watch the show, but come on. You see what happens when you put yourself in a situation, in a culture that knows how to win? I'm just saying. Come on. And the safeties, the defense, they have the attitude. They got swagger. Marcus May getting involved. Tyrann Mathieu getting involved. Ugo Amadi getting the first interception of the preseason. I mean, this team has so many cool things going on around them. There is great cohesion. There is great chemistry. There are so many players on this roster that are making the other players better, and it is so much fun to see. I'm just so excited for the week 1 and for this entire season. Just for the love of God, injuries, football gods, if you're listening, injuries, just keep them away. And then on top of that, Dennis Allen, clean up the frickin' penalties for please. Like that was unbelievable. I mean, you went 9 penalties for 79 yards. Unbelievable. Unacceptable. It's preseason. This is the time to get that shit out. But do not let that be an issue this year. For the love of God, don't let it be a problem. All right, so we're wrapped up out of here. We're hopping on out of here. It was a fun day. It was a fun show, and we got a lot more stuff to get ready for tomorrow's show. So I want you guys to let me know if you're still watching and you subscribe to the channel. Type Stay Golden in the comment section. Shout out to all 500 new subscribers that we got yesterday during our watch party. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the squad. And I hope you guys stick around all season because it's just getting started. Type Stay Golden. And as always, y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.